Okay, it's the Vancouver Real Estate Market Reports. This is July the 3rd, 2026, and we're about to study what's just happened. Okay, so big news on the site. Kuzma did not get renewed, or the Trump administration has said they are canceling Kuzma. It'll wind down over the next 10 years. Uh, so let's quickly look at the Vancouver area here. Okay, starting off with the Vancouver market, we had 7,063 listings. That's up quite a bit. Holy crackers! And 662 sales. So a 9.4% sell through rate. Guys, let me explain what that means. When we have 100 homes for sale and we sell 10 of them, that is barely a stable market. If we're down to 9.4, we're dropping probably 5 grand for the month. If we drop down to 6, we're going to drop 20 grand a month. If we go up to 20 sales out of the 100, that's a 20% sell through rate. Now we're going up 20,000, 30,000 a month, 20,000 a month. So Vancouver just dipped down a little bit. We were kind of expecting that. And then in the Fraser Valley, we're at 8.9%. So that's a pretty big drop. 6,400 listings down to 573. Now let's go have a look at our individual cities. So as we look, we publish this every 2 weeks, so you don't have to wait a month and a week to get good data. This tells you the winners and the losers every 2 weeks. So once again, the key focus here is the number of homes that sell in each city versus the number of listings, giving us how many are selling each month, what percentage. So, what are our winners? North Vancouver at 18%, as usual, has been forever. And out here in Fort Langley at 14%, once again, strong. Those two markets are always very similar. But who got hit hard this time? Okay, well, out here in Richmond, we're at 10%. Not terrible, but almost stable. East Van at 11. Burnaby, Coquitlam at 12 and 12. Okay, not bad. Hanging in there. And as we come out to White Rock at 10. Now we move into the valley with 8% for North Delta. That's an ouch. And 7% for West Surrey. That's the King George Highway going west. Okay. That continues to be the hardest hit community we have in the entire lower mainland. And as we come out through the rest of the cities, 10% for Abbotsford, 11% for Mission, and 13% for Chilliwack. Now, if we come down to the previous 2 weeks, we'll see it's somewhat similar here. The only one that really changed here is Coquitlam was at 19%, so they took a big hit. They went from their 47 sales down to their 29 sales. So Coquitlam took quite the hit in the last 2 weeks. Now, listen, we've all been waiting in anticipation of the Kuzma agreement. What does think happened? Well, the news is not good. The Trump administration has said they are not renewing their extra long term. So here we are. This is CTV News. I'm trying to give somewhat of a balance here, but let's just listen.
The United States did not agree to renew Kuzma in its current form. That was the message yesterday from the U.S. Trade Representative Jameson Greer, as July 1st, the key date for a critical trade agreement between Canada, the United States, and Mexico has now come and gone. So what comes next? Joining us now to explain is...
So at the end of the day, Canadians have been living for a year and a half on pins and needles. Uh, 76% of our income comes from the United States. 85% of the trade with the states is duty free. And we've all been hoping for a new renewed agreement, get rid of some of these steel tariffs, the wood tariffs, the aluminum tariffs. all the different things. And then, of course, we're tariffing them for the alcohol. I think in BC and Ontario, there's no alcohol in federal stores, etc. And a lot of back and forth tariffs been going on. Well, we have no resolution. So I know Canada put on theoretically a triple tax on Netflix and probably Google and YouTube and anybody working with the American social medias and media companies are now getting a triple tax. That means we pay for it, okay? But that, of course, would have been one of the things that would have irked United States. And then, of course, we recognized Palestine at the very beginning, and we did a trade deal with China. So all three of those put us into not a happy relationship. So right now, uh, Trump is canceling the Kuzma agreement, and we will continue to hopefully try and negotiate some better terms. I don't know if that means it waits another year or not. But for many of us Canadians, we've been totally in the dark. We had no idea. We're always expecting this new trade agreement in 10 days, as Carney has said. So, anyhow, here we are. So, consumer confidence, about the lowest I've seen in my career, 43 years. And back to our stats here. So, as we look through our stats, we can see these sales are about as low as it gets. I I guess we'll see what happens in the month of July, but I do not expect a consumer confidence increase, so I expect even more pressure on the market for the next following months. I guess at some point people say the sky did not fall, and 2 years of pent up buyers may start actually sticking their head up and actually buying a house. So we're in a very, very tough spot where consumer confidence is really being battered hard. Anyhow, that's your update for the July the 3rd. Looking at our total sales for each marketplace, Vancouver and Fraser Valley, and looking at the individual cities for the previous 2 weeks. This is your Bible to the winners and losers every 2 weeks. So check in VancouverMarketReports.com, publishing on Saturday at noon every second week. Bye bye for now.